Imagine being judged not for who you are, but for what others assume about you, and how one moment of prejudice could jeopardize an entire nation's security. At a bustling airport terminal, two officers were about to make a grave mistake. They had no idea who their focus was fixated on, but he wasn't just any traveler. This was Marcus, a highly trained federal agent on his way to protect a visiting dignitary whose safety was paramount. Unbeknownst to the officers, the encounter that was about to unfold would draw the eyes of everyone nearby. Marcus stood among the crowd in the terminal, his expression unreadable, yet his senses were honed in on the bustling surroundings. Tasked with an important mission, he had assumed a casual appearance, dressed in everyday attire to blend in. His keen perception constantly scanned those around him, ensuring nothing escaped his notice. As the terminal filled with travelers checking in, boarding, and rushing to gates, Officers Turner and Hayes entered, their gazes darting over the throngs of passengers. Upon spotting Marcus, a young black man waiting alone near a boarding gate, their eyes lingered, morphing from mere curiosity to scrutinous doubt. They exchanged glances, eyebrows knitted, silently weaving a shared suspicion without understanding. The officers, seated just a few feet away, couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. They began to intrude on his thoughts. Was it odd for a black man with a confident demeanor to be in such a strategic location? Their instincts swelled, drowned in assumption, and they leaned into the narrative they had constructed. Minutes trickled by, solidifying their unease. At last, unable to resist their growing doubts, Turner and Hayes rose from their seats, marching purposefully toward Marcus, their expressions shifting from caution to hostility. "Sir, we need to see some identification," Turner stated flatly, an undertone of accusation venomous in his voice. Marcus looked up, maintaining a calm exterior despite surprise and concern mounting within him. "I'm a federal agent," he answered steadily, reaching for his credentials. "Federal agent?" "Right," Hayes scoffed, a hint of disbelief evident. "What business do you have at this terminal? Protecting an official visitor," Marcus stated simply, hoping to ease the tension. But the officer's expressions hardened, disbelief ingrained over reason. Marcus, still calm, adjusted his stance. But Hayes's gaze dropped to the bulge of Marcus's concealed firearm. Alarm crept into Hayes's expression as he instinctively pulled back, hand hovering near his own weapon. "He's armed," he yelled, his shout echoing through the terminal and igniting panic among onlookers. "Everyone stay calm. This man is dangerous." The commotion caused whispers to ripple through the crowd, heads turning in alarm. "Please, let me explain." Marcus raised his hands, voice steady, but urgency seeped through. "I'm authorized to carry this weapon. I'm here for protection." Although he sought to reason, the officers were too enmeshed in their preconceptions to hear him. "Down on the ground," Turner commanded, drawing his weapon. Panic erupted as passengers ducked instinctively or gaped wide-eyed, resigned. Marcus lowered himself to the ground, aware that any resistance would spell trouble. Handcuffs bit into his wrists as they roughly searched him, ignoring his badge, which they stuffed into their pockets without a second thought. Both officers, convinced of their justification, exchanged nods, believing they had averted a crisis while securing Marcus's weapon. Despite the humiliation, Marcus remained composed, berating himself for being judged by his appearance before being recognized for his valor. As he was escorted through the terminal, the eyes of stunned passengers burned into him, a mix of disbelief and fear, compelled to reassure them. He longed to express that he meant no harm and was tasked to ensure safety. Yet the officers moved him along without regard. Their tunnel vision only intensified as they brought him into a small, sparse security office, with the last vestiges of decency stripped away. "Do you think we'll just take your word?" Hayes jeered. The officers pulled him into a metal chair, harsh stares set upon him. Separated from his duty, a frisson of worry coursed through Marcus. The risk to the dignitary's safety heightened with every passing moment. Taking a breath, he steadied himself. "You're making a big mistake," he asserted. "I'm with the Federal Service. You need to let me go." Yet Hayes flicked his head dismissively. "Sure, and I'm a magician," he returned, sharing a derisive chuckle with Turner. "I'm not joking. Removing me endangers the dignitary." Marcus's patience continued to wear. My firearm is for protection, as mandated. You need to understand the gravity here. Nice cover story. Turner shot back, stepping closer. Let's cut to the chase. Who sent you? I'm alone, and I'm here to do my job. Yet with every answer, their skepticism deepened, questions becoming laden with unwarranted accusations. The relentless questioning wore on him as time dragged, feeling the frustration mount, knowing that every moment they believed they were right could lead to dire consequences. Silenced and stripped of his authority, Marcus bore their accusations with an unwavering gaze, resigned to await an ally who could intervene. Outside, the boarding crew was completing final checks when a senior agent noticed his absence. The sudden realization prompted immediate concern. Marcus had not boarded voluntarily. When news reached the chief of staff, unease washed over him, and inquiries revealed that Marcus had been forcibly removed. The president's expression hardened with concern as he learned of the unfolding situation. They've detained him? Processing the implications, he asked. And they think he's a threat. Yes, sir? The chief of staff responded, anxiety palpable. Hold the flight. I'm heading down there now. The president moved swiftly through the terminal, meeting the officers displaying misplaced pride as they recounted their heroic actions. Where is Marcus? The president inquired. Their confidence faltered. We thought we began Turner, but he stumbled over his words. You thought you apprehended a terrorist without due diligence? The president interjected. You've apprehended one of my agents. Both officers stood slack-jawed, the weight of their error settling heavily. Their eyes went wide as the president made it clear how serious the matter was. Marcus's removal jeopardized security. As they were led to the holding room, Marcus met the president's gaze. Relief washed over him. He'd held his ground through it all. Agent Marcus, I apologize for this egregious misunderstanding. The president stated earnestly, extending his hand to help him rise. Thank you for your patience throughout, but you need to understand your importance. Marcus, weary yet dignified, accepted the gesture. Thank you for coming, sir, he nodded. Turning to the officers, the president's voice cut through the tension. You owe him a profound apology, G. You acted on baseless assumptions, and today a dangerous precedent was set in our ranks. Both men exchanged guilty looks, embarrassment sprawling across their faces. We're sorry, Turner managed to say, the regret earnest. Marcus acknowledged their remorse, serious but unyielding. Racial profiling compromises our safety. Understand the repercussions. It could put lives at risk. The officers nodded, sentiments finally sinking in. Remember, we're charged with safeguarding. The president insisted. What happened today will not be forgotten. As they returned to the terminal, the previous unease hung on the officers like a shroud, fully aware of their oversight. Marcus bore every step with resilience. Upon boarding the plane, familiar faces filled with understanding and regret watched him curiously. Respect was quietly offered. A sense of relief enveloped Marcus. The challenges faced today only affirmed his commitment to keeping everyone safe. Back at the office, Turner and Hayes would carry today's lesson with them. The great dangers of misjudgment. For Marcus, the experience reminded him to confront prejudice was paramount for justice, ensuring every individual could live without fear, and in their readiness to learn lay the path to real growth. Disclaimer: the events and characters depicted in this story are fixed and not based on real people or occurrences. This narrative is meant to engage readers through imaginative storytelling. This is my new channel. If you want to hear more stories like this, please support me by liking and subscribing. It's just a second of your time, and I truly appreciate it. Take care and stay safe.